What to Bring. Article by Naisha Jackson. Traveling Light. 100 years ago, most immigrants to the United States arrived by ship and were allowed only one suitcase for the month-long voyage. They left almost all of their belongings behind. Recent immigrants have a much faster journey, but many of them still bring very few items with them. Some modern immigrants moved to the United States to find a better future, owning very little in their countries of origin. One immigrant from Central Africa arrived at Kennedy Airport in 2002 with 20 cents. He worked in a car wash as he earned his college degree in finance. A man who emigrated from Honduras brought a ceramic Zorro pencil sharpener, which is now a treasured family possession. Other immigrants are refugees, escaping oppression in their homelands. Many refugees are likely to have very few possessions and are often unable to leave their countries with those belongings they do have. A man who was imprisoned for 9 years in a Soviet political labor camp immigrated to the United States with the help of the International Organization for Migration. He arrived with only a small flight bag. One of the few items he had with him was a toothbrush he had kept in the labor camp, carved down so it could be hidden in his pocket from the guards. The thousands of children who left Cuba in 1960 were allowed to leave with only $5 and a small suitcase. One child's suitcase held his bilingual edition of Shakespeare's Hamlet. Precious possessions. Are there any principles that guide what belongings an immigrant brings? There are requirements, legal documents such as passports and birth certificates, and there are items of choice. Some items you might expect, while others might come as a surprise to you. Perhaps the two most common kinds of immigrants' belongings are religious items and photographs. Immigrants may have photographs of friends and relatives they are leaving and places they used to live. New arrivals have arrived with the following religious items in their luggage. A prayer book, a Bible, a Koran, a statue of Buddha, religious medals, candlesticks for Sabbath candles. Immigrants often also bring things that will remind them of their homelands. A Chinese family brought ashes from the wood-burning stove they used to cook their last meal at home. A Greek woman brought a night-blooming jasmine plant. Gifts from friends also occupy space in their bags. A refugee family from violence in Ghana brought beaded necklaces they had been given. Along with a few documents, some photographs, and an X-ray proving that the father had been screened for tuberculosis. These were their only possessions. Some people bring useful objects. A man who had worked casting metal escaped past armed Iron Curtain guards in Hungary with a small tool of his trade in his pocket. He started his own foundry in the United States and still uses the tool, and he won't let anyone else use it. The husband of the woman with the night-blooming jasmine brought his barber's scissors with him and started his shop at the local railway station. Many immigrant families bring cooking utensils, woks, rolling pins, stainless steel bowls, and favorite knives. Immigrants do not always know a lot about United States life. A Ukrainian family of refugees had 4 large duffel bags with them, packed tightly with bedding, which they had heard was expensive and inferior in America. Sentimental journeys. Remembrances of old lives take up immigrant suitcase space too. Things that have been in the family for a long time help new arrivals feel more at home, or at least less alone. Parents' or grandparents' wedding rings are seldom neglected. Other items may not seem so valuable. A man who was a doctor in Myanmar brought his diploma, even though he cannot practice medicine in the United States. A girl from China brought her bright yellow metronome, simply because it was special. None of her friends had one. And she now finds that, unlike when she was in China, she enjoys practicing the piano. And of course, young children, and some not so young, can be counted on to bring a favorite teddy bear.